Good afternoon, Rotarians and guest Rotarians. If you wouldn't mind standing, we've got a little formality at the beginning. My name is Tony Bettini. I'm the MC today. We start with acknowledging the Wurundjeri and the Bunurong people of the Kulin Nation, and we pay our respects to their elders past, present and future, and respect to all Indigenous Australians present today. And welcome to those on the hybrid you in the room. They are given by past President Robert Fisher, and it'll be followed by the royal toast by President Philip Cornish. So make sure your glass is charged.
Thank you, Tony. Vocational service is a cornerstone of Rotary. It was formed in 1905. It emphasizes the importance of using one's profession to serve society, and it encourages us to apply the ideal of service in our personal, business, and community lives, including fostering high ethical standards in business and the professions, recognizing the all useful, dignifying each Rotarian's occupation as an opportunity to serve society in vocational service. By actively engaging in it, Rotarians contribute to, of course, is central. If we are in employment, we can use our skills and experience to serve the community. If we are no longer employed, we can, for example, use our experience to help people with their career ambitions. So we look forward to panel discussion around vocations. For good food, friendships through Rotary, and the opportunity to serve, we...
Thank you. Thank you, Robert. Rotarians and guests, and Rotary International. Thank you. Remain standing. With regret, Rotary Melbourne mourns the passing of David Dunoon on the 11th of January at the age of 83, a member for over 56 years and with our club since 2004. David began his Rotary service in Swan Hill, serving as club president from 1969. He was known for his commitment to service. In 2009, David received the Axel Award for his exceptional role as onto conference, the district conference and lawn system. His precise planning and organisation and beyond Rotary, David was a business director at Swan Hill 1961 to 2001. To Australia. His warmth and leadership will be missed by his wife and a servant at Wesley Church. Silence. Thank you. We'll be breaking for lunch, and thank you, Tony. Beautifully done as always. Members, visitors, great pleasure to welcome you to our 27th of this Rotary year. And would anyone like to hazard a guess to how many club meetings we've had during our history yet? Any takers? I'm gonna run a sweep one day. Yes, that's it. Someone's got the running sheet. In our 105 history. A very welcome to our first lunch of the year. Today, our Vocational Service Committee hosts the annual Issues panel. The theme of today's discussion will be rewards and challenges of growing a business in Victoria. So on the panel, we have business owners and Rotarian Dr. Minnie Watts and Mamoon Huck. Both will be introduced more fully by our moderator, Joseph Ebbage, and the chair of the day, past President Reg Smith, later in the program. In the meantime, could you please acknowledge and make our vocations welcome? We have a number of guests and visitors of the club today. We have Kate Datson from St John Ambulance, our project partner in PNG. Kate will provide us with a short update on the Snakebite project later in the program. Also here to accept, acknowledgement of a check, because we don't do a lot of checks now, for Christmas is Jack Howes, head of... Jack's there modelling some of the youth wear from Homey. And for introductions, shortly we have Chrysanthi Pegasus, and Chrysanthi is accompanied by her daughter Christina. So very pleased to have him there. And visiting our club and hosted by David Carruthers, we have Andy Rajapusky, Zone 8 Assistant Rotary Coordinator, ANZ Pacific. And on a return visit, James, always welcome here, from the Rotary Club of Sydney and the RGECAF Project Director. And if you want to know what those initials stand for, please ask James. He'd be delighted to tell you. Please join me in making all these visitors and guests welcome. We have other visiting Rotarians, visitors and guests of the club. I invite you I assure you, you'll therefore get the same amount of applause. So if we could refer to the, I'm referring to the guests. So Emery Aganoa, if you could stand, a guest of Minnie Watts. Pene Ebbage, a guest of Joseph Ebbage. Andy Rajapetsky. So, and visiting us from the Rotary Club of Toorak and a guest of Bruce Levitt is Christine Zavot. If you could all make our fellow guests welcome. Here. Now, very importantly, we have an induction of a new member. Would Chrysanthi Pregasis come forward for an induction into the membership of the club? I call Sue McDonald to introduce Chrysanthi to the club. Sue.
President Phillip, it gives me much pleasure to introduce for membership of the club, Chrysanthi Pregastis, who most recently held the position of practice manager at her late husband's medical clinics and will have the classification of medical services management. She will be a member of Toorak 1 group. Her mentor in the club will be John Peabody, and she will be known in the club as Chrysanthi.
President Phillip, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and thank you for welcoming me to the Rotary Club of Melbourne. I believe it's service to our community, a privilege and a responsibility. I feel fortunate that Sue McDonald invited me to attendings, which provided with the opportunity to gain a deeper understanding of the Rotary Club and the important work that it undertakes. I've been greatly impressed by the calibre of the members and inspired by the significant contributions being made both locally and internationally. Access to education and good health can make a difference to life and future prospects. Often a small helping hand can create meaningful and lasting change. It is an honour to be part of a group so committed to make a positive impact. Thank you.
Chris, we welcome you as a member of the Rotary Club of Melbourne. Today you enter and organise more than 1.1 million members in more than 36,000 clubs in 221 countries, embracing the internationality of Rotary. We believe that you have the personal and professional qualities that will ensure the principles of Rotary will be in your keeping. The Rotary badge you will receive in a moment, and I hope you wear with pride, indicates your commitment to the object of Rotary, which is, as we all aspire, to encourage the ideal of service above. We expect that you come back, and we ask that you convey Rotary's aims in all that you do. We look forward to you pursuing with us the great work of Rotary. So with this expectation, I offer you the right hand of fellowship and ask that members rise in joining me and welcoming you to the club. I'd like to come to the podium along with Kate Datson, our Snakebite project leader in PNG, to update us on the project.
So the first thing when said, you went to kindergarten at West, didn't you? True story. So it's a reunion, and you haven't changed a bit, apparently. So Kate's currently in Melbourne. She's still supporting the project in New Guinea, the Snakebite project. And I thought it'd be a good opportunity for her to come along and just give us a few words, role, and some challenges that they faced up there, some, and in particular, donations that we've all made, that success, and then what we need going forward. So you've prepared all this, haven't you? Yeah. Okay, good.
Thanks, Tony, and thank you for the invite to speak today. So my name's Kate Datson. I'm a paramedic by trade. I've been living in Bow in East New Britain for the last 2 years, being with St John's PNG paramedic, but also an amazing opportunity to a PNG Snakebite partnership, which I'm sure you've. And basically, the PNG Snakebite partnership works in country to deliver antivenom to people that have been in Australia. It's roughly around 6 people a year. In PNG, it's around 1,000, and we think up to 2,000. Yeah, it's a big number, and snakes are everywhere in PNG. There's a really tuberculosis and malaria. If you get bitten by a snake and envenomated by a snake in PNG, it's almost 100% mortality rate. So project really work to reduce that and yeah, essentially remove it. Some of the challenges that we've had working there, you have the obvious ones. We're a low income country, so power, water, access to the actually require, which is a big barrier to us. So not a lot of healthcare facilities have power, and therefore they don't have a fridge. We also have a lot of in education, so there's a lot of misconceptions around snakebite. There's a lot of source, but also people think, you know, tying the wound or cutting the wound and treating it within the village is the way to do it, whereas we, through the community program, really encourage people to always take help. Through Rotary have been really helpful to bridge the gap between we always work with the National Department of Health through the antivenom distribution and healthcare worker. Rotary for some really helpful interventions. So we've gotten a ventilator off them, I think, and that's been. I've actually used it personally. From Quick Killer to Port. Some of the funds last year to start a community programs. We, as the PNG Snakebite Partnership, go out and train healthcare workers. The life-saving interventions start really early on. So when the patient gets bitten in the village, 365 snakebite bandages, 565 snakebite bandages were purchased to give to elders in the community with some training. And those bandages actually say, you know, hours compression. We've also launched a community program. So we actually have hired an individual staff member to go out to the rural communities and go into schools, churches, villages, and actually teach people what the right to do. Really see So people are presenting earlier, which is fantastic. And we actually are seeing a reduction of less of the harmful practices. So scarification, so cutting the wound, seeing any. I think we'd love to continue working with Rotary. In facilities where there may not be power, so solar powered fridges, and also to some community program, because that's where we're seeing the effect. We can't control the snakes, but we can control what happens after they're bitten. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yep.
For those who are interested, Kate brought along a flip chart. This is has Rotary Club of Melbourne on the front of it. It's used in community education projects. So a lot of our funding, for example, has been used to manufacture these sorts of items, posters in 3 languages, a whole lot of stuff like that. So it's great to hear from the front line that what we're doing way down here in Melbourne is actually saving lives and making a difference. So thank you very much, Kate.
Would past President Barry come to the podium to tell us about the upcoming district conference and activities and leading up to the conference? Got to say, I'm now pleased that we've got a joint district conference in Horsham, given everything that's been going on in Western Victoria, and that'll put a little bit more money back into the economy. So, Mary.
Thank you very much. I'm very pleased to say that we're now planning this year's On2 conference, which is a great Rotary Melbourne tradition. It'll take place in March, and we'll be travelling from Melbourne to Horsham ahead of the district conference. And for those of you who may not know where Horsham is, it's 3.5 hours northwest of Melbourne. So for anyone who hasn't been on an On2 conference trip before, it is truly a great Melbourne event. If you're people who enjoys a relaxed social trip over a few days with great conversation, interesting sightseeing stops, good food, and plenty of fellowship, then this is definitely something. Partners are most welcome, and attendance at the conference is optional. Quite a few members come along just for the road trip, the company, and the fun, while others do go on to attend the 2. Good on them. I've been to many a conference myself, and they are very good. Now, the full trip runs from Wednesday the 25th to Friday the 27th of March, travelling via the exciting city of Ballarat and onto Stall, where we spend 1 overnight each. You can join us for the whole 3 days. You can come along for 1 or 2 and just find us along the way, or simply come to him for the fantastic club dinner on Friday night. The conference, for those who are going, will start on Saturday in Horsham. Now, we currently have 10 Rotarians and their partners who have confirmed. So if you just look at the slide behind me when it comes up, so you can see this is shaping up to be a fantastic, friendly, enjoyable, and fun group. And there's room for more. So we can have more of you join us. And this is a terrific opportunity for some of our newer members who may have the time to get to know some of your fellow Rotarians and really get to see what goes on and what kind of fun we have. So if you have the time and you want to join us, please let Debbie and Fu, my co-founder down here, or myself know. Or if you want to know more about it, because you haven't before commit, you can speak to me or Deb, or you can speak to, they haven't come up yet, one of these fantastic people. But anyway, there are 10 Rotarians and partners. We got 20, so please think about it. If you want to have a bit of fun, get to know us, you won't regret it. So hope to hear from some of you soon.
Definitely an exciting group, Mary. And got to say, members, I was shocked when I went to my first On2 conference to find that not everyone went on to the conference. Very, very, very surprising to me, but this should be an important conference. Now, Jack, do you want to come up to this podium here? As members will know, we have a custom at each Christmas tide to have a nominated charity selected by the president, and I chose Homey, in part because we had a terrific presentation from Jack's boss, the CEO, Stephanie Say, about their program. It's a social enterprise, but it's more than that. It concentrates largely on getting young people into work, and they have a success. And for a group of people who are normally young, homeless people, that's an outstanding result. And I frankly don't know a better level than that, Jack. But we also should acknowledge that Nick Pearce, who was one of our young achievers a number of years ago, and one of the co-founders of Homey, was recognised with an Australian honour, I think an OAM off the top of my head, OAM, as well as Marcus, his co-founder. So we're now handing over the ceremonial envelope because we don't have a cheque in here, but we've already transferred the money. We're making a presentation of $2,485.74, and some groups I know sent money directly, so it'll be somewhat larger than that. So thanks, Jack.
Like Philip was saying, we're a streetwear social enterprise. I think our dress code's $50. I did just want to say thank you very much. Once every 4 days, a young person affected by homelessness dies in Australia, and the most common cause of that is suicide. Officially, that number for young people, 15 to 24, we're looking at 28,000 young people on any given night affected by homelessness. That's per the census, where, as I'm sure you know, you need a fixed address to participate. Unofficially, the sector will tell you it's at least double that. So conservatively, we're probably looking at 60,000 young people affected by homelessness on any given night. Homey exists to support young people out of homelessness. Our programs work, and with your support, we're going to be able to continue to run them for as long as we need to. So thank you all again for having us. We're very, very grateful.
I now call on our chair of the day, Past President Reg Smith, to take over. Over to you, Reg. Thank you.
Thanks very much, President Phillip. Today's vocational service panel is about real rewards and real challenges of growing business in Victoria. We've got two of our relatively new members, terrific contributors already, Mamoon Haq and Mimi Watts, who'll share their first-hand stories as founders of prospering businesses. Mamoon is founder of Greenleaf Cosmetics Australia, a Melbourne-based sustainable manufacturer creating high-quality, affordable products for local and global markets. Mimi is an associate professor in a part-time, an associate professor at Federation University, but her big mission is the founder of La Guapa Outwear, an ethical fashion brand using vintage and dead stock fabrics to take on fast fashion. So today, the talk is going to be all around leveraging vocation, which Rotary's foundation, and for greater good. And I commend them to you. Our panel moderator is Vocational Committee Chair, Joseph Ebbage. Take a look at Joseph. He's just taken the role on and he's bringing a new approach. If you're interested in joining the Vocational Service Committee, we're always keen to have a chat with you. So think long and hard about it. We run several great events. This is one of them each year, and I hope you enjoy it. Over to you, moderator.
Thanks very much for having us again. It's always a delight and an honour for our Rotary calendar year with a panel discussion that centres around our vocational service. And as Reg mentioned, and as Philip mentioned earlier, the theme is really around the challenges and rewards and incentives and what drives people to start a business go through all the heartache. So we're looking forward to a great discussion. We've got about 4 sets of questions, and then after that, which will take about 20 minutes, and then really looking forward to 10 minutes of questions and Q&A. So make sure you're if ideas are coming to your head, make sure you keep them and ask them at the end. So just to kick off, as you'd expect, let's start with a quick introduction in the sense and ask both Mimi and Mamoon maybe just to take a couple of minutes just to share with share about their business and their journeys. And to open the batting, we've got Mimi. Oh, Joe, is it working?
Great. Thanks. Thank you, everybody. And thanks, Joseph, for asking me to be part of this panel. But to the Rotary Club, thank you for welcoming me and making me part of a big family, especially Barbara, always encouraging me. She doesn't like me saying that. But most people know me as an academic. And I've been in academia for over 2 decades, teaching at the university, and now I've been a full-time associate professor at Federation University. I'm also appointed as professor of research at Fiji National University. I'm also appointed at Mekelle University and Gonda University in Ethiopia. So I hold a few professorial positions in the area of public health around the world. But what struck me was people liking what I wanted, but also I'm very artistic. In my very younger years, I recall in high school, I had the physics prize, but also the first literature prize. Hence, I could comfortably think in brains, and I've carried that along with me. And over the years, in terms of trying to do things and work for the community, especially when I served as commissioner, it was always about the grants. It was always about knocking on people's doors to provide and support resources. So for me, La Guapa was an opportunity to create something that I can improve and be part of the ecosystem regarding sustainability, but at the same time, doing good by using whatever resources I generate from there to give back to the community. So this is where it comes from, and the whole purpose of it is not just recycling and upcycling dead stock from some of the best fashion houses, and I'm wearing La Guapa, as you can see, but at the same time, doing something that my resources can actually improve lives of people out there, especially for young women around the world. So I'll leave it there.
Thanks, Mimi. Mamoon, over to you.
Thank you, Joseph, for the opportunity to join the panel. And, lovely to meet you all. Good afternoon. My name is Mamoon Haq. My story is not like Mimi. I have a very simple job. I love manufacturing. So I've always been in the manufacturing industry since I finished university in late 90s. Before coming to Australia in 2005, I was doing manufacturing in Taiwan. That's where I learned about FMCG manufacturing. I had the opportunity of working in Europe as well, in Belgium for a few years. And since I came to Australia 2005, I also started my manufacturing business in Australia. And now I'm building my 4th factory in Victoria. And I've always been in personal care industry, in cosmetics, skincare, hair care, FMCG. During COVID, I actually went into a lot of, safety, sanitizers, disinfectants. And I actually worked exclusively with St. John Ambulance that time. And I'm building my new factory now in Sunshine, where I will be doing pharmaceuticals. There's a lot of controversy around sun care. So I'm putting up a new factory to do sunscreen, therapeutic products, tropical medicine, things like that. So that's all about me. And at the same time, I also support a lot of local startups, and I work with RMIT as an industry partner where we take care of students who want to learn about entrepreneurship. And since 2016, we graduated nearly 700 students from there. I also take part in small business development around the world. I have a joint venture factory in Cape Town in South Africa, and I'm building a couple of more in Asia at the moment. So that's about me. I love manufacturing, and I'm in a country that's manufacturing is not the very big thing here, but I'm here, and I thank you all for that.
Great work. Thanks, Mamoon. Maybe if we go back to Mimi, the next round of questions really is facing what we all have to face when we're starting a business. Is to look at what are the challenges that we all need to overcome. So Mimi, I wonder if you could just briefly just outline what have been the key challenges that you've had to face and jump over?
Yeah, it's really interesting because I come from academia, then I'm in fashion. And the good thing in Melbourne is that we've got a very good manufacturing scene. And when you look at Richmond, when you look at places like Collingwood, we've got some really good creative industries in this area. But then when we think about manufacturing as a whole in Victoria and Australian made, which is a very well respected and recognized brand, it is expensive. But also the structures in place to support startups is limited. It's constrained by resources. And when I talk about resources, I'm talking both fiscal resources, but also physical resources to support that. And then when you look at a niche type of boutique business that somebody like me gets into, it is very, very easy, for example, to buy a piece of garment that has been manufactured with another few million and shipped all around the world for a few dollars. Then you think about manufacturing here in Victoria, we have to think minimum wage, which is a very big, but also really, really important because we want to make sure that the people who are manufacturing the clothing, they have a comfortable life as well. And I think that is the difference because we have to pay those costs to ensure that we have quality. It doesn't mean that the other places, they don't have quality, but we've got standards that we have to meet and the checks and balances in place. So for me, one of the biggest challenges is really the resources in addition to having the support systems.
Right, thanks, Mimi. And Mamoon, from your perspective within the manufacturing of health and beauty products, what have been the challenges that you've had to overcome?
I mean, we chat before, and I did ask Joseph that how much time you got, because it's challenges everywhere. It's not a manufacturing country. We don't have the, understanding and the cultural support with manufacturing, but it also opens up a lot of opportunities at the same time. But let's talk about the challenges. I would say one of the big challenges I face here is the cost. Like the cost of running a business here is very high, labor cost, and whatever I could pay in Asia more is sometimes not enough. So then cost of renting a place, there's a lot of madness going on with real estate, commercial real estate, and there's not much, what's the right word, like support from different departments of government as well. Then there is infrastructural problem. Like I ran manufacturing in a lot of other countries, and I would say Australia is far behind when it comes to infrastructure. Like it's a culture of it's like a big warehouse for Amazon. That's what Australia is. So when I rent a warehouse and I check, they don't even have any electricity. They don't have power. They don't have gas. They don't have water. I have to do everything. Then I have to spend money. And then there are red tapes. Like just to upgrade electricity in Australia will take you 12 months. It will take 12 days in Taiwan, from my experience, an example. Then let's talk about financial challenges that Australian investors are risk adverse. They don't understand manufacturing. They don't invest in manufacturing. Every business I've done here is self-funded, mortgaging house, going into savings, everything, borrowing from friends and family, but that's how I've done it here. And the last thing I would say, the very big challenge is the taxation. I don't know if a lot of you had to deal with, payroll taxes. The more people you hire, more you pay. So why would I go and hire more local? That's what I want to do. But there's a lot of challenges. But, you know, like I don't want this to become a very, you know, negative discussion. There's a lot of rewards too, which is coming.
It's Mimi. Yep. So having got out of the road, what the issues are that you have to confront. Now let's on the positive side. You know, well, what have been the rewards so far, Mimi, of where you've come to?
I think it's really seeing somebody out there wearing La Guapa. So myself, you know, the pride that I designed myself, and everything is made in Melbourne so far. And keeping it local, knowing that I am supporting, and I'm skewed to this. I work primarily with women in this industry, and that has been very intentional and very, very purposeful, because I know how difficult it is for them to break through. But as Mamoon said, you know, for me, it started as really inspiring people. And I feel there are people who have then been inspired to start up their own businesses, because I say to them, this is not just about clothing. I am using clothing to empower women, to lift them up. I want you to get your door, not dressing for anybody but for you, but also being appropriate for the occasion that you are going to. What you're going to wear to an interview is different to what you wear when you're standing in the classroom. What you're going to wear to hang out with your friends, you know, or going to the boardroom is completely different. So I'm using clothing to inspire and empower people out there. And, you know, there are things for men, the unisex jackets, etc. So for me, that is what La Guapa is all about. And La Guapa is a Spanish word which means beautiful.
Great work. So Mamoon, from your perspective, what have been the rewards so far?
Okay, let's talk about the good things, you know. I mean, there's a lot of great things about Australia. We're very happy to be here, you know, like there's political stability here. There is law and order. You know, I was born in Bangladesh. I know what it means, you know, so very happy with become a part of a truly multicultural society. I lived in a lot of places, and I can tell you, I have never faced any sort of racism in Australia. And I can say the same thing about a lot of other places that I've been to. So that's very encouraging. And we got some of the world's best universities in Australia. So I get a lot of research done actually at a very low cost with the partnership with universities like RMIT, Monash, Victoria University, Swinburne University. If I have something that I want to learn or explore, I can reach out to any. They will be welcoming. They will be working with industries, which I haven't seen in a lot of countries, you know. So then I would say the reputation-wise, we're sitting on top. Like when I go into any trade show, I'm actually from the elite group of people because I bring something that's made in Australia. That is immediate acceptance in the global market. Regularity-wise, it's very painful to make things here, but once you do, you know you tick all the right boxes. So you can immediately export to the US, you can export to most of Europe, and rest of the world is your oyster. So there's a lot of good things. I mean, there is no perfect country in the world. There is no utopia, but I would say there is more positive in Australia than challenges. I'm here.
Fantastic. Great work. So I suppose now the call to action for us, you know, how do we as and as customers? So from your perspective, how can we what can we do that helps our local Australian businesses not just survive but also thrive?
That's a great question. I think it's really having structures in place that should support local manufacturing, but really entrepreneurship should be something that is not taught only at a university level. We should start very early to empower people what it means, for example, to own your own business. So education should be about empowerment, because I think when you own a business, there's something in it in terms of not just your supporting your own and building your own leadership skills. It is something that you use to create opportunities for others. So I think it is something that we should reflect on as a society, but that also means governments must invest in, and people should be encouraged. I think the Australian brand is a great brand. Let's buy Australian quality made stuff, because when you wear Australian, when you own Australian, you are part of an ecosystem that is supporting, but that is also employing and creating jobs for other local people. For young people in particular, I think every young person who is interested in entrepreneurship, male or female, should be given some sort of a seed grant. So if you're a politician or you know some sort of a politician, let's make this a type of a political something for the elections and get them to, get the young people in, give them seed grants and support their businesses, because I think they've got a lot of ideas, use artificial intelligence and other structures in place. So thank you, Joseph. I think, yeah, we really need support. But otherwise, we've got good policies and structures already in place.
Right, thank you.
I do agree with Mimi. The most important thing is that supporting local, it should not be a slogan. It should be actually practiced, and there should be policies around it. Like in our last meeting, I did mention to Joseph that for many years I've been asking the retailers, could you have a made in Australia aisle, like where only locally made products will be displayed, and let Australians decide if they want to pay $2 more or not. Because I hear from buyers, like every single retailer in this country or pharmacies, they'll tell me the same thing, that no, people don't want to pay. We want to support you. But the truth is, they will look at their own bottom line. The corporate culture is toxic, and it's all about making profit. And it's very sad that I have to sit here and talk about this, but I don't get any support from Australian distributors. My business is export. I get a lot of support from Asia Pacific, Middle East, like even Africa, I export from here. But my next door neighbor at Chemist Warehouse doesn't want to buy from me because he can find something 10 cents cheaper in China. I will give you one quick example. I mean, during COVID, that taught us that you have to support local manufacturing to maintain your supply chain. We a lot of challenges, and that time I changed my cosmetics manufacturing plant 50% to make sanitizers and disinfectants, and I supported, St. John and Ambulance Victoria and many different department government when they needed things, including Victoria Police. But when there was a tender to reopen school, those small sanitizers, I was 4 or 5 cents more expensive than suppliers in China, and I didn't get the contract. And I supported all these departments for, sacrificing my own bottom line, but I didn't earn the same thing. When it comes to manufacturing grants, it goes to large companies who actually don't need it. I'm a mid-sized company. My turnover is around $20 million. I don't get anything that I need. Like I have to fund it myself. And even I'm bringing COVID again. During COVID, there was an opportunity of making, let's say, face mask in Australia. So I submitted a project that only needed $4 million. I didn't get it. Another large organization is a publicly listed company. They submitted for $40 million, and they got it from the federals. And that project never saw the light of the day. And I must tell you, it's not like third world corruption that happens here. It's very subtle, but it does happen. And if we don't have the right, if we don't have the right policies, and if we don't genuinely support local, we don't have a bright future. It will become another, another situation like what's happening in the US, and we can avoid that.
Great work. Okay, thank you so much for we've done the rounds. So now over to you. Really, are there any? Would anyone have any questions from the floor?
I got the question.
Well, so just for everyone, I think if I understand the question, it was what's the impact of the changing face of advertising plus the introduction of.
Very interesting, and we are learning, as you know, the advertising is changing and very rapidly with of artificial intelligence, right? So you could, write a script and put it online and get your own animation or video made, and then you can post it. But then at the same time, because the resources are so cheaply available, it's getting saturated and are losing its appeal. And there's a lot of scammers on online marketplace as well, because it's make a really beautifully looking, advertisement. You don't need to hire a marketing agency. You don't need to hire a studio. You can do this through a laptop. So there are a lot of challenges, and it takes time to figure out who is genuine and who is not. And with robotic, I find in my line of work, it's personal care. It's very personal. As much as I'm a big fan of AI and robotics, I don't think it's there yet. And robotics or AI cannot do my job. It cannot formulate. It cannot produce things the way it should be. And what robotics is coming to the picture and helping us is just some supporting acts. And AI is helping us to do a little bit of better quality control, but we are not there, like the car industry, that it could be fully automated, but we're working on it. And I hope in the next 5 to 10 years, we'll see a lot of improvement, and that needs government funding as well.
Great.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mamoon. Mimi, on the similar note, you mentioned it at one of our meetings about an experience you had on a train.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I think for me, and here I wear my academic brain in that we must embrace artificial intelligence. We must embrace robotics. I don't see them as taking over certain roles, but they're going to enhance what we are doing. And the example that I actually shared recently was I was on the train and I happened to sit next to somebody who is now working with me on my brand as well. And we got chatting, and I asked him what he did for a living. And he does animations, but also, again, in the line of advertisement using artificial intelligence. And then I'm like, oh, I own a business, because he asked me what I did. And sometimes there are times I talk about the academic world, but sometimes I talk about the fashion world. So I went in the direction of the fashion world. And he said to me, okay, show me your website. I did. What he did was he quickly went on the La Guapa website, picked up a few garments, put them on a mannequin, put a scarf from the website on the mannequin, and literally this mannequin, who was now a human, walking down a fashion show like the catwalk, and people were clapping, and I could not believe it. It took him less than 15 minutes on our ride from Southern Cross to Caroline Springs. He did that, and it's like, if you like, I've still got it on my phone. If you like, you can upload it on your website. I did it. But what he did was said to me, people come to your website, they pick up one item. When you do this, people look at the different pieces that I've put together and they want to pick up the different pieces. So for me, I see it as really using artificial intelligence to enhance, and especially for the entrepreneurs who are or startups with young people, let's support them to embrace these technologies and use them, because you don't have resources, especially when you are starting up a small business. If you don't have mom and dad or auntie to give you that little bit of money, for me, I directed a lot of money from my own salary to do what I am doing, because to start it up from scratch is very, very expensive. Lots of young people don't have that to be able to do it. So AI is going to help them, but if we don't embrace it, it's going to go past us. Thank you.
Thanks, Mimi. One more, maybe. One more. Yep, please. Sure. Maybe if I just quickly repeat the question. It's a question around productivity, and there has been media coverage about issues that Australia is having problems with our productivity. And the question really was for the panel: has that been an issue for your business?
I don't think I agree with that. Maybe it depends on the industry. And productivity is an outcome of many different elements. And one of the things would be automation. One of the things would be backup industry support. So from my industry experience, I did not face that problem. We work with Australian farmers, Australian growers, Australian supply chain partners. We support local. So if you have a system in place that you can utilize properly, then productivity will increase. 10 years ago, my per day production capacity was, I would be very happy if I could do 20,000 units. But now I can do up to 100,000 units per day. And I did not increase the manufacturing capacity 5 times more. Maybe I doubled it, but the productivity has increased. So I'm not quite sure if the media is telling you the truth.
I guess for me, it's really finding the right people to work with, especially in this industry. You know, the hand skills, a lot of clothing and manufacturing is offshore, and it's done in, by big factories out there. So having people who are not working here in sweatshops, but really having meaningful employment where they can make quality garments, that is a little bit challenging. But I'm lucky that, it's how you treat the workers, then they bring people to you as well. So far, I've not yet hit a roadblock, but I'm also in this process of trying to scale up the business. And I've got Emery here who's been working with me in that space because his work is scaling up businesses, etc., and amongst other things. So hopefully when I get to where I'm hoping that we get to, we will still be able to have people locally for us. Otherwise, if you don't, then the temptation is you have to look elsewhere. My vision is to continue to manufacture not only in Australia, but in Melbourne specifically, if I could.
Thanks very much, Joseph, Mimi, and Mamoun. I think the classic way of saying this is that we're not in full training for our meetings just yet, and we didn't have the usual token gifts to present you in thanks. They'll be on their way shortly. But my final duty today is to draw the meeting to a close and importantly remind you of next week's event, which is our annual picnic at the Peace Park on the corner of Anderson Street and Domain Road in South Yarra. 5:30. Bring your own chair to sit and rug and a meal, 5:30 till 7:30. And at the end of that, you can wander down to the Maya Music Bowl and listen to some free music. So it should be a great night. And I think the weather's shaping up to be really good. So having thanked everyone thanked the panelists and so on for a great presentation today. And I think there's some pretty interesting stuff to do a deep dive on if you're interested. So lots more conversations to be had there.